watching Platinum Eagle Podcast, and I'm your host, Platinum Eagle. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I certainly appreciate that. I like to get things out the way, and of course, put some in the comment section. I always like to hear from y'all. It definitely means a lot to me to, kind of have some dialogue to go along with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because we already know it's Fly Eagles Fly. We already know it's Fly Eagles Fly. We already know it's Fly Eagles Fly. This game reminded me of the divisional round that we had, I think, in 2018. It was 2018 when we went to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl that year. The conditions was not as snowy, of course. It wasn't nothing like that. It was more or less the way it ended. Not to beat the whole game, even though I said last game kind of reminded me of that. But I'm talking about the sloppiness of last game kind of reminded me of the Atlanta Falcons game because, we was picked as underdogs. Everybody thought we were going to get ran up in. And what happened was we ended up, pulling the game off at the end of the game. Matt Ryan went to Julio Jones, and Julio Jones came up short. He went to him on the left side first, came up short. Then he came back to the same play. Jalen Mills saw it, and he went to the right side this time and still ended up missing it. So Matthew Stafford threw it to the left side, and it was incomplete because Slay was there to make sure that there was nothing happening to be successful for their drive to continue going. One play could have been a definitely touchdown. Our guy, I think, one of our guys fell. I don't remember who it was. Fell as the wide receiver or tight end even was in the middle of the field, and he was right there to catch the ball if it was thrown his direction. But he couldn't do it because, again, 98 Jalen Carter was all over Stafford. And since I'm talking about Jalen Carter and Stafford, that is crazy because the first time last season when Jalen Carter introduced himself to Matthew Stafford, Jalen Carter would get through the offensive line and do a crazy sack on Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford couldn't get out of trouble, and actually I thought it was going to be a flag on the play, but it wasn't a flag. I think the referee talked to Jalen Carter a little bit after the play saying, hey, man, we don't do that in the NFL. Anyway, that's what it kind of reminded me of. So ever since then, I'm thinking Stafford must be having nightmares when he sees Jalen Carter because Jalen Carter is always in the mix of things when it comes to getting to the quarterback. Carter will record 2 sacks in this game. Moro Ojomo will record 1. Jalix Hunt will record 1. Go ahead, rookie. Do your thing. I ain't even mad at you. Do your thing. We need a lot more of that because, we gonna need to get to the quarterback a lot more. Nolan Smith, man, that guy has been on fire. Do you hear me? That man been doing his thing. I didn't expect him to have a year like this here. And I'm glad he is having a year like this right here. But I'm not gonna lie. I was still on a kind of a hangover due to Hassan Reddick getting traded to the Jets. I moved on since then. So, but not like Nolan Smith, his sack fumble would cause the ball to come out, like I said, and then Zach Bond would be right there to get the ball and recover the ball for the Philadelphia Eagles, and we would go the other way. You know what I'm saying? So it was awesome, and we hurried him a lot more than that as well. So like I said, he was uncomfortable all day long. It was not a comfortable game for Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford usually is very poised. He's seen everything you can throw at him. But in this game right here, I don't know. Vic Fangio kind of got ways of getting at you. You know what I'm saying? Especially his coach, ended up saying before, that Fangio's scheme is one of the hardest schemes to scheme against. And it shows up when we play against him, though he do have some pretty good moments. Because Matthew Stafford did have some pretty good moments, which we'll get into here in a little bit. And I got to take a little time to talk about Big Play Slay. My man Slay wants to win a Super Bowl this year. He done did just about everything he needed to do in his career except win a Super Bowl. And what better team to do it than the Philadelphia Eagles and this season right here? We don't need to wait no more. He's not going to probably be around next season. It's best that we get it done this season. That way, Slay can walk out kicking the door down. You know what I'm saying? So I want him to go out with a bang. That's how I want it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I met Slay before. He a good dude. You know what I'm saying? He a real good dude, man. Me and my family met, as a matter of fact. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that he get a Super Bowl ring with us. It's a great thing for us to, hang back up in that trophy cabinet in the Philadelphia Eagles facility. So let's get it. Quinyon Mitchell went down with a shoulder injury in this game. It's definitely was scary to see him go down with such an injury because, man, look, Quinyon Mitchell's been a dog all season. I think he allowed 1 touchdown all season long. We need that guy. We need that kind of production on the field all the time. So Isaiah Rodgers came in. He did pretty good. I'll talk about him in a second, but I want to finish with Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell probably will be in the game this week coming against the Commanders. they got a key injury out as well. The guy who's supposed to block 98 Jalen Carter. Ooh, it's a big loss. He did crack Stafford with his shoulder, and Stafford, I think, ended up having a broken or a cracked rib or something like that. I'm not sure what the situation is with him. But, you know, hopefully both of them have speedy recoveries. Isaiah Rodgers started out the game pretty rocky. They was picking on him, and I figured they would because he wasn't Slay, he wasn't Quinyon. The last game we played against the Rams, they did kind of pick on him the same way. And they picked on him a lot with Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua, we'll talk about him in a second. That dude's a dog. I won't talk about him too long because he didn't have a great game, though he was pretty good. But he was pretty solid. Isaiah Rodgers had a ball thrown straight to him. And it was a good pass because it was actually straight to the receiver, DeMarcus, I think his name is DeMarcus Robinson. It was thrown to DeMarcus Robinson, and DeMarcus Robinson actually, you know what I'm saying, stunned him out of the ball, you know what I'm saying, because the ball came right to, but again, Isaiah Rodgers had a chance to pick the ball off, but he would not pick the ball off, and I don't think I have the right angle with this right here because this is the TV version, and they didn't show the version I needed it. But anyway, Isaiah Rodgers would later on start picking up his game. I'm glad they didn't stop him from staying focused and staying locked in to the assignment at hand, because there was a fumble by DeMarcus Robinson, and Isaiah Rodgers was right there to pick it up. Isaiah Rodgers was right there to pick it up. I mean, it went right to him. It couldn't have been popped into his hands no better than this right here. And he ran it in to the 5-yard line, I think it was. I think it was a 10-yard line. Nonetheless, he almost got a touchdown. I wish he would have scored. We wouldn't have been, you know, having heart problems for the end of the game had he scored. But nonetheless, we ended that drive off with a field goal, and, you know, the rest is history. You know, we already know what happened. We played the Rams the first time this season, earlier this season. The Slay went out. Stafford picked on Rodgers quite a bit. Kudos to Isaiah Rodgers for keeping your hand in the game. But again, we're going to need Quinyon Mitchell back because, you know, there is a little bit of drop-off. It's not a great amount of drop-off, but it is a little bit of drop-off when you don't have Quinyon Mitchell in there. Because Quinyon Mitchell, you know, he's younger, he's a little bit more faster, and I think that he's a little bit more aggressive. Though there's no slight to Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers, to me, in my opinion, I want him back. If we don't get him back, I'm not going to cry about it. But next season, I think we can have him back. He did a great thing with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think he's one of the ones, you know what I'm saying? He just needs a little bit of time in the system to probably catch up to everything that's happening around him. So, shout out to y'all for making that happen and contributed to the Philadelphia Eagles winning over the Rams. Conditions like that, it's hard to ask for both teams to play like regular football. We expected the Philadelphia Eagles to be used to the weather as far as coldness, and we thought the Rams would come in a little sweet and not ready, you know what I mean? But you couldn't tell that to them. They was not ready to go home. Them boys fought. I'm gonna have to give them all credit when it comes to that right there, because the Rams fought. The Philadelphia Eagles fought too. That's how we won. But the Rams, I take my hat off to them. They actually came through to play us real tough. We'll talk about Jared Verse here in a little bit, but I ain't gonna beat them up. I ain't gonna beat the Philadelphia Eagles up. I'm hoping for a better game, a much better game. 2 games coming up this weekend and the next 2 weekends from that. We gotta win it all, man. We are right here. We can smell it. It's like that apple pie that's baking on the grandma's, you know what I'm saying, door. You smell like apple pie, you gotta get some of that, you know what I'm saying? And that's how we feel about that. We some hungry dogs, and we want that. Hurts played a pretty good game. Like I said, for the naysayers, he played terrible. But when you look at numbers across the league, especially when it's snowy conditions, they favored pretty much the same thing. You know, they showed the same thing. Look at Josh Allen. You look at Jalen Hurts. The comparison is pretty much the same thing. You know what I mean? They're going to give Josh Allen all the nod, you know what I'm saying, in the world. I'm not going to lie and say Josh Allen is probably not a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. But I'm not going to say by a whole lot. I think before this year, I probably wouldn't have thought that Josh Allen was that much of more of a talent. But I still don't put him like way leaps and bounds over Jalen Hurts. I just think that Josh Allen's been real consistent in having good games against his opposition, no matter how good the team is, no matter how bad the team is. It's not to say he don't have bad games. Josh Allen plays consistent, so I'm going to give him that. But again, in saying that, I have no doubt in Jalen Hurts doing his thing this coming week against the Commanders. We played them 3 times already. We know what to do against the Commanders, and we know how to beat them. Just catch the ball. Catch the ball. Yeah, we caught the ball last time. When I wouldn't even have any I wouldn't even have anything to say about the Commanders. I would say a three-peat. He's about to sweep them 3 times, but it didn't happen. So it is what it is. We're going to move on. But I have no doubt that we will beat the Commanders this coming week. Jalen Hurts was 15 for 20, 128 yards, 0 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and 1 rushing touchdown. And boy, was that a rushing touchdown. I think it was like 43 yards or something like that. Jalen Hurts took that bad boy to the house, and he was tripped up a little bit. It didn't stop him. He was running like his life depended on it. That man was running. And it was funny that Jalen Hurts gets so much flack, so much bad talk about how bad of a quarterback he is across the league, and of course across the Philadelphia Eagles fandom, or so-called fandom for some of y'all. I hope we win a Super Bowl, because y'all get on my nerves. And for the Philadelphia Eagles fans who's hating on Jalen Hurts, I don't want to hear you come back talking about, Jalen Hurts, this, that, just. I don't want to hear you talking about fly, Eagles, fly. I don't want to hear none of that, man. Because it starts with the quarterback. If you don't like your own quarterback, and it's nothing wrong with not liking your quarterback. If I don't like my quarterback, I'm going to probably say, well, I'm always going to be a fan, but I'm not even going to look forward to us winning the championship if I don't believe in my quarterback. I'm not going to say I don't believe in my quarterback, but we're going to win the Super Bowl. What kind of sense does that even make, though, for real? I understand it don't have to be a quarterback that actually does all the work to get you there. We've seen other teams win in spite of their quarterback. That's not most of the time the case with Jalen Hurts. Sometimes, yes, it is, but not all the time. But speaking of the topic at hand, Jalen Hurts didn't get a lot of help from his offensive line this time here either. You know what I'm saying? His offensive line was kind of terrible. And I'm not going to beat them up and tear them down so much, because it was the weather. And like I said, the Rams, they gave up sacks too. They gave up big opportunities to win the game. So like I said, I'm not blaming necessarily the line, saying that the line's going to be like this all the time. But in this particular game, the offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles did not show up the way I would expect it to, or the way we've grown accustomed to seeing them show up. So I got to see something better than that, because they didn't do Hurts no favors with the lack of protection. The offensive line ended up giving up 7 sacks. That is a lot of sacks. They made the Rams look like they was world beaters. The offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings, those 2 weeks back to back, made the Rams line look like they was like that. And they're pretty good. I ain't gonna take nothing from them, but they ain't like that, man. They good. They ain't like that though, man. I'm just saying. But it was 7 sacks on our quarterback. One of which he ended up getting hurt. Jalen Hurts ended up getting hurt a little bit. But kudos to him for stepping in there and keep on doing his thing. And we should have him back and have him still as well this coming game against Washington Commanders. And we're going to need all hands on deck, like I said in the last video. All hands on deck. Number 8, Jared Verse will be all over the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts. He has some choice words for the Philadelphia Eagles fans before the game. Talking about how much he hates the Philadelphia Eagles fans. Here you go. Man, a lot of people feel the same way, to keep it a bean. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, I don't hate nobody, but I don't like a lot of our fans either. I'm going to just keep it a bean. You know what I'm saying? Some of our fans, like even that guy who was, but I heard the story was different with him, so I'm going to leave him alone. The guy who was talking about, the lady's a cunt and all that stuff. Like, I'm going to leave him alone, because we didn't see the context. We only saw what ended up happening afterwards, or heard what happened afterwards. We didn't see the context. And what I heard was the Green Bay fan was trying to act like he was innocent in all this here. I guess he's a YouTuber, and he was trying to get some clicks, some likes, and all that stuff. So he decided to egg the guy on, is what I heard, and ended up being, the guy getting ejected and banned for life, and the guy ended up acting like he was the victim, and he actually wasn't. That's why you can never believe everything wholeheartedly unless you was there. But anyway, I digress like I always do. Jared Verse, like I said, he was all over our quarterback. Our quarterback didn't stand a chance between him and the rest of the defensive line. They got through kind of like with ease. They kind of got through with ease. So the Eagles offensive line, I love all y'all. Y'all gonna have to clean that up, man. I know it's the conditions might not be the same this weekend coming up, inshallah. And if it's not, I need to see, whether it is or isn't, I need to see a whole lot better because I know y'all better than that, bro. We ain't the number 1 offensive line in the league for no reason. So I need to see y'all coming back and showing up and showing out like you always do. Come on, let's get it, man. Let's get it. We got mission. You ain't gonna complete the mission by getting your quarterback beat up. Let's go, man. On one of those times they got to the quarterback to sack him. It was a sack fumble. We ended up Hurts ended up dropping the ball, and Gainwell, thank you. Gainwell alhamdulillah, was there to pick up the ball and keep it going our direction, even though we was going the other direction, if you know what I mean. We still had the ball, so we was going the other direction still, but we was going backwards because it was a sack fumble. But anyway, thank you. Kudos to Kenny Gainwell. I'll talk about you in a second because, you know what I'm saying, I love Kenny Gainwell's game, and I know a lot of people don't feel the same way, but the way I feel about that is maybe I know a little something about Gainwell's game than you do. It's the only way I look at that. You know what I'm saying? Saquon Barkley will rip off 270-plus yard game. I don't know where this guy, I mean, we actually resurrected his career as well. Don't be wrong. Saquon Barkley wasn't a bum or a bust when he was playing for the Giants. He just was playing for a bum and a bust team. But his stats didn't look nothing like that when he was playing for them. But they don't have an offensive line like us, so it makes sense. But anyway, he will rip off those 270-plus yards to the house. It's not his first time doing this. That's what he's been doing all season long. And I'm telling you, between Zach Bond and Barkley, they're the best acquisitions that we got in the offseason. If it wasn't for them, I don't know what this Philadelphia Eagles team would be. I probably think that we'd probably be somewhere in mid. I'm not going in front. I'm not going to hold you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm seeing. But anyway, I'm glad he's on the team, and I'm glad we're not mid. We want the top, if not the top. And we'll see in a few weeks who's the top, and I'm hoping it's our mighty Philadelphia Eagles. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? One of Barkley's touchdowns that he took to the house was followed up by a miss by Jake Elliott. Same with the one run by Jalen Hurts in the first quarter, I believe it was, all the way to the house, a 43-yarder, was missed by Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott. I'm talking about you every week. This is not even normal for a Philadelphia Eagles content creator to talk about the kicker every week. You know what I'm saying? Jake, I said to him blue in the face, it's going to work or it's not going to work. I just don't want you to be the reason why we lose the game. We could have been 8 points above the Rams if you'd have kicked those 2 PATs correctly, but you didn't. So we had to stress a little bit at the end of the game because it would have been 8 points. Yeah, it's still been in reach, but it would have been a situation where if they score, they win, whereas they didn't score. So like I said, Jake, we don't need you to lose a game for us. Come on, man. Get with the program. But they would hold Saquon Barkley a little bit. You know, they would hold him. He didn't get every play that he wanted to get. You know, he didn't break out, but that's what Saquon Barkley do. Is even when he was with the Giants, he would have a situation where he would be one play, negative play. You know what I'm saying? One play would be 2 yards, 3 yards. Next play, negative play, or no yards. Then all of a sudden, boom, he's going to the house on you. You know what I'm saying? And he did that for the Philadelphia Eagles all season. So this is what he did in this game too. So I'm telling you, Saquon Barkley one-on-ones. I'm so glad we got him locked down in contract for 2 more years after the season. And it's likely he's going to get all the money that he got in his contract because if he keep playing like this right here, he's going to kind of be like underpaid still, which is crazy when you can think of anything in the NFL being underpaid. But Kenny Gainwell had a pretty decent game as well. You know, when Barkley was out, he did everything he needed to do. Keep the glue sticking, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So Kenny Gainwell, that's what I said. That's my guy right there. I know a lot of Eagles fans don't really particularly care for him as number 2 running back. If he was to come back to the Philadelphia Eagles, which I kind of doubt that he would come back, but if he was to come back to the Philadelphia Eagles, I would definitely welcome him with open arms because the guy is he's not a drop off, and I don't care what nobody say. I'm standing on that. I'm standing on that business. You know what I'm saying? So Kenny Gainwell, hey, you keep repping the Philadelphia Eagles, man. I'm here for it, man. Like I said, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? You one of them ones, and I don't care what nobody say about you. You get my respect. Platinum Eagle should give you shout out. My respect due to you. You know what I'm saying? Dallas Goedert was targeted 4 times, and he had 4 receptions, and accounted for 56 yards in this game. No TDs. Barring injuries, I think Goddard is going to go off for the rest of this duration of the playoffs and the postseason. I mean, I think he's going to go off. The guy, you know, he like I said, he just a rough, physical, hard to tackle, you know what I'm saying, individual. You just not going to, I mean, Goddard's one-on-ones. I don't care what nobody say. If he can stay injury-free, man, the Philadelphia Eagles will have something golden, you understand? Devontae Smith also had a quiet game with 4 targets, 4 receptions, and 21 yards. That's real quiet for Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown as well. He only had 2 receptions in the game. I think he was targeted 7 times. So we gonna need a whole lot more. I understand they didn't like to play in the ice and situation that we had to play in, but we're gonna need everything back to normal starting this week against the Commanders. Jared Verse, he had a lot of antics. Like I told you, he had a lot of things to say about the Philadelphia Eagles fans. And Carter has some words for him too. My 98 J Carter, he had some words for him before the game. You know, my wife thought it was comical because she called him a bully. He always messing with somebody. He'd probably get in trouble in school. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, Jay Carter, man, he was definitely going to represent for the Philadelphia Eagles. He'd love to be here, and I love the fact that he's here with us as well. But back to Verse, he didn't just talk it. He was walking it like he talked it. You know what I'm saying? He was on Jalen Hurts' head, and he had some things to say, you know what I'm saying, a little celebration after the sack or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Thumbs up, thumbs down or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because he hates the Eagles fans or whatever. But like I said, he definitely didn't lose that game because of his play. The Rams didn't lose that game because of his play. The Rams didn't lose that game because of the defensive play. The defensive play was on point, and it was a real close game, closer than I thought it would be. But Jared Verse, maybe one day you would change your heart, because you know what, the NFL, you would never say anything like that about people's fans, because it's a business, man. You might have to pay for us one day. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good look for you. You know what I'm saying? You might want to, this might be your last resort, and you get passed up on opportunity because you hate the fans and you're not going to get that warm reception. I wouldn't have done it, but hey, that's just me. Puka Nacua did what Puka Nacua does. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have a real strong game, but he had a decent game. You know, he's one of them ones. I got to give it to him. The Rams, they came up when they got this guy here to be on their team. That's all I got to say about that. And he dropped one pass that was real crucial at the time on the sideline. I'm so glad he dropped it, because I was sweating. I ain't going to front. I ain't going to hold you. I ain't going to act like it's like we just was going to do this here. The Rams, them boys came to play, and they got my respect. But I'm glad they had to come out with the L, because I ain't like the way the coach McVay was talking and Verse was talking. So it couldn't have been a situation where they won and they got a chance to pop their shit after beating us. Astaghfirullah. You know what I'm saying? But Stafford, kudos to him. Like I said, he almost passed for 300 yards. You got to give him credit where credit is due. Yeah, but the final score was 28-22. Philadelphia Eagles on top. And the Philadelphia Eagles, with that score, would advance to the NFC Championship game versus their arch rivals, one of their arch rivals, rather, the Washington Commanders. Like I said, salute to y'all, because y'all have been doing y'all thing this season. You know, I don't like y'all's franchise, but I got to give it up. I got to give it up, and I got to keep it a bean, but I got to keep it a bean. Y'all doing y'all thing, but I think it have to stop here. It cuts off here for y'all. Y'all neck gets slit from here. You know what I'm saying? We gotta move forward with the dub. We got to. This is our year. You know what I'm saying? The Philadelphia Eagles got to clamp down and take the second Super Bowl in franchise history this season and perhaps next season. But we worried about first things first this season and starting off clapping their neck. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, beating whoever's in the AFC to go ahead and take it all. But that's my show for the day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please, like I said before, like and subscribe to the channel. Man, it means a whole lot to me. If you know somebody that loves the Philadelphia Eagles, please send them my content. And I'm sure they'll like and subscribe to my channel, because, you know what I'm saying, I keep it a bean. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about all the X's and O's, you know what I'm saying, the analytics and all that stuff. But what I will tell you about about what I do is I'm going to analyze the whole game, and I'm going to tell you what I see from my perspective. And that's all y'all want to hear, from my perspective. And y'all might have a different perspective. If y'all do, please put something in the comment section so I can hear what y'all say, see what y'all say, respond to it, and keep it moving. Like I said, it's all friendly fun over here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing but love for y'all. I thank you so much. Fly Eagles fly on the road to victory. One more to go, and then after that, we in the Super Bowl, and then we definitely got to knock their head off as well. And whoever in the Super Bowl, whoever opposing us, we got to do it. H2O. Hard to oppose. Back in the day. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Willie. Thank you so much for sending your people my information. You know what I'm saying? So now they subscribe. I appreciate that. It goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to start a new segment this next coming season. But we'll talk about that then. But for right now, it's Fly Eagles Fly. And I'm your host, Platinum Eagle. I'm out. One.